He's an author, advisor, and angel investor in over 40 companies, including Uber, Facebook, and Twitter. He's the first American to hold a Tango world record, and his 4-Hour Workweek book was on the bestseller list for 7 consecutive years. He is Tim Ferriss, and this is my take on his top 5 secrets to success.
A diversified identity in some fashion. I think this is important so that your self-worth isn't only associated with your startup. Now, that's probably a controversial recommendation. What that means is you should actually spend time involved with other skills. So in San Francisco, for instance, many startup founders I know who are very efficient and effective have their startup rock climbing, they get outside, they do a few things so that if one goes well, they can remain optimistic each week, which is very difficult if you're only directed at your startup.
I only invest in things that I understand and things that I use or would use myself. This is really, really, really important. Anytime I step outside of that is usually when the universe kicks me in the nuts really hard and I lose my money. I think it's critical to, as an entrepreneur, scratch your own itch. It increases the odds of success or the probability of success. And then as an investor, I look for people who are scratching their own itch. When you're thinking about a product launch, first thing I would ask is it the right time to do the product launch? So if your product isn't figured out, if you can't fill the orders, now is not the right time to be on TechCrunch, in my opinion, or in any other major media outlet. Once you're in a major media outlet, they're not going to cover you again for some period of time or ever. If you're in the business section of the New York Times, they're not going to cover you 4 weeks later when your product is better and you're ready. So make sure that you pick your timing. A few things. So there's paid exposure and unpaid exposure. I like to focus on unpaid because it forces you to make better decisions in the beginning. So I would read, as I always say, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, 1,000 True Fans, written by Kevin Kelly. I would also read best-selling book PR and Publicity, I think it is, by Rick Frischman, F-R-I-S-H-M-A-N. All of the techniques apply to more than books. And learn to tell the story. What are you focusing on? Are you using yourself to tell the story and then the product is associated? Is it a trend piece? Are you trying to tie what you're doing into a greater trend, which is a very effective way of getting media? In which case, you're going to need other examples. You need to get comfortable with bringing in sort of cooperative competitors to create that trend piece. Learn the art of the pitch and of messaging. Only once you have figured that out would I say then you go out and you pay to acquire people. Because now, if your messaging is off, it's costing you money. You need to be able to sell. Whether it's Kickstarter, whether it's New York Times, whether it's your local newspaper, you need to be able to communicate effectively and sell, which is why when entrepreneurs ask me for books to read outside of business books, I say, On Writing Well, Bird by Bird, all books on writing, improving communication. David Ogilvy on advertising. Study print ads, where you have very little space. I think those are all very, very effective. The best entrepreneurs I've ever met are all good communicators. It's perhaps one of the very few unifying factors. They're exceptional communicators. Practice is the only way to get better at communicating. And practicing speaking does not provide you generally with something to review later, which is why the written word is so powerful. Yeah. Writing is thought crystallized on a piece of paper that can then be reviewed. It's very difficult to do that with speech, which is why I recommend people focus on honing their skills in writing. And take time to study good direct response ads. Take time to, for instance, maybe develop a swipe file. So one of the things that I did for years is anytime I bought something, I would identify the ad, the phone call, the print ad, the offer, whatever it was that made me decide to buy it, and I would either cut it out or record it, put it into Evernote, whatever it might be, and save it. So I had a record of everything that I bought and why I bought it. That's really cool. And then I could go back and review it, and I'd be like, oh, looks like I fell for this, this, and this. Not in a bad way, but it looks like this tipped me from or not interested to, yeah, I'll spend $550, $500, $5,000 on that. Yeah. I save all that. Everything that works in sales has been done already. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. So just keep track of the crap that you buy or the awesome stuff that you buy and decide, what was the trigger? What pushed me over the edge? And then just sell to people like you. That's what I do. It's really easy. People are like, who's your market? I'm like, well, I'm a 30-something SF-based tech-savvy male, so why don't I just sell to those people? It makes it a lot easier than trying to guess. Ideas are worth nothing. I mean, ideas are really, they're not a dime a dozen. They're just nothing. All the good founders I know, even the bad founders, can come up with ideas all day long. It doesn't mean anything. You have to be able to execute, and one of the sort of maxims that I was told once was, your success will be measured in the number of uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. So I often get asked if an entrepreneur should, say, start a business based on one of their passions, or if they should find the most attractive market opportunity and build a business out of that, whether they like it or not. I don't think it's either or. I think you need both. I would say look at your own credit card statement. Identify where you spend an unusual percentage of your income. Where are you price insensitive? Then how old are you? What gender are you? Where do you live? And design a product that has all of those things intersecting.